This project is about colour, experimenting, brushes, autumn moods, and getting ready for Thanksgiving Day in a small private bilingual elementary school in Northern Europe. When I was thinking about creating a Thanksgiving-themed art project that my classes could complete from start to finish within a 90-minute lesson, and then hang in the school hallway for Thanksgiving Day, I decided to build it around learning new skills with acrylic paints and colour mixing. I also wanted to avoid the cliched stock imagery of Thanksgiving. First off, what can we learn from the classroom setup? I prepared the tables before the class arrived, and each workstation had assorted brushes, bristle and soft, large, small, round, flat and pointed, paper towels, HB pencils, white craft paper, A4 for the 4th graders and A3 for the 7th graders. My painting palette template with white paint already dispensed, and I was using a selection of good quality acrylic paints. There's information about the paints in the description below. Finally, on each group of tables there was one large basin of water between 3 to 4 students for rinsing brushes, and I replenished this water often during the lesson. If you are painting at home, try the 2-jar method, which I have described in a separate video. There's a link in the description below. Thanks for watching this far. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, consider joining my more than 1,000 strong subscriber community and hit the notification bell to stay in touch with my latest videos. Now on with the video. By the age of 10, every child has already acquired lots of skills with colour, brushes and paint. So in my skills lessons with the kids, I acknowledge their previous learnings and tell them that for each of them, the lesson will contain some next level skills to help them grow their creativity as painters. My breakdown of these next level skills is quite a long list, which, believe me, we did achieve. I don't teach all these skills at the front end of these lessons, some at the start and others progressively through the early stages of working on the activity together. Here are the skills I teach. First of all, the workplace. Observe how the work table is set up. It is clean and minimal with only the essentials: paper, palette, brushes, water, paper towels and pencils. Body position. For this painting activity, standing is better than sitting, so we move all the chairs away and I encourage the students not to lean or rest on the table. We want to paint with a freely moving arm. Yes, some students complain, but after a few moments of painting they soon forget they thought standing would be difficult. The love of paint takes over. Brushes and water. Hold your brushes so that you can sweep in smooth flowing side-to-side or circular movements. We do not need much water with acrylics. In fact, I tell students not to add water to the palette. However, brushes do need a tiny bit of moisture to help them take up the paint, so we dip the brush in clean water and then dab the brush in a paper towel until it is semi-dry or damp, neither too wet nor too dry. I also demonstrate how to avoid brushing too heavily on the paper. Have you noticed that if you do, you can accidentally squeeze even small amounts of water out of the brush to mess up the painting? The palette. Painting with a limited palette, that is, with a restricted range of tube colours, in our case 4 tube colours plus white, helps students gain a practical appreciation of the variety of colours they can create with just a few colours and white. Using my palette template as a guide, students can experience how 4 colours plus white can easily make at least 14 colours, more if they experiment. If you're not sure what a hue or a tint is, hue is simply another word for colour, and a tint is when we add white to a colour to make a pale version. Using the mixing suggestions drawn on the palette template enables us to create many hues and tints from only 4 colours plus white. The template also shows how to create neutrals, by mixing opposites. In our case, by mixing warm and cold colors and tints together. When we reflect on how the palette template is laid out, we can see that all the tube colors are arranged across the top, with white on the left, and the colors lined up from warm to cold, and then the darkest color on the right. And all the mixing takes place below this row of tube colors. It's a good idea to position each new mix in a place that helps you remember how you made it. You can also write notes on your paper palette like my students did for future reference. And last but not least, I would remind anyone using a structured palette like this that the whole point is to discover new colors and to enjoy the playful and exciting value of experimentation. Watching and helping my students as they experimented was a pure delight. They all had that joy of color vibe. And so to the expressive focus of the lesson. Why rainbows? Because everyone loves rainbows, almost as much as they love unicorns. Also, because I wanted to avoid the cliched stock imagery associated with Thanksgiving and use a motif that was both open to very diverse painterly interpretations and yet easy enough to use as a compositional form. My suggestion is to use the theme as the basis for your own creative imagination and self-expression. Your individuality will come through in your colors, your contrasts, your brushstrokes and composition, and any other details you might want to add, such as things you are personally thankful for.